If I were to tell you that there was a conspiracy against the former President Donald Trump to prosecute for these individuals going after him to enrich themselves and to even be coordinating with Donald Trump's political rival, Joe Biden, it would be just another Tuesday. And I actually was thinking I might avoid covering this story because welcome to the fray, I guess. It almost feels that with this story about Fani Willis, the DA, hiring a romantic partner who met with the Biden White House counsel before the indictment, it's just like another day, another dollar. Everyone's going to be. Here's my concern. OK, it is such commonplace now that we are learning of this collusion that people are probably just going to go, yeah, OK, whatever. I'm going to go read some other news because this almost isn't even news. Another grain of sand in the they are conspiring against Donald Trump story. But it is big news. So here we go. Fulton DA Fani Willis allegedly hired a romantic partner to prosecute Trump, and he met with Biden White House counsel before the indictment. On Monday, a defendant in former President Donald Trump's Georgia election fraud case filed a motion alleging that one of the prosecutors hired by Fulton County DA Fani Willis had been in a romantic relationship with her. The same prosecutor also met with President Joe Biden's White House counsel before indicting Trump, Biden's leading presidential opponent. Michael Roman argued that if true, Willis's conduct could potentially warrant a dismissal of the charges against him and disqualification of the entire DA's office from future prosecution of the case. Roman's lawyer, Ashley Merchant, claimed in the filing that Willis had the prosecutor in question, Nathan Wade. Willis and the prosecutor have been engaged in an improper clandestine personal relationship during the pendency of this case, which has resulted in the special prosecutor and in turn the DA profiting significantly from this prosecution at the expense of taxpayers. They've basically given this guy, according to, let's pull up the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. This guy's been paid nearly $654,000 in legal fees since January of 2022. Basically, this guy is getting a free ride off of this gig. The bombshell public filing, says AJC, that the special prosecutor Nathan Wade, a private attorney, paid for lavish vacations he took with Willis during the Fulton County funds, using the Fulton County funds his law firm received. County records show that Wade, who has played a prominent role in the election, has been paid $654,000. According to the filing, they were flying, like trying to secretly fly, but they were going to the same places and vacationing together. She pays him money from the public coffers. He uses that money to enrich his and her lives. According to the filing. The motion, filed on behalf of defendant Michael Roman, a former Trump campaign official, seeks to have the charges against Roman dismissed and for Willis, Wade, and the entire DA's office to be disqualified. Pallavi Bailey, a Willis spokeswoman, said the DA's office will respond to Roman's allegations through appropriate court filings. Wade did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The document offers no concrete proof of their romantic ties between Willis and Wade, but says sources close to both the special prosecutor and the DA have confirmed they had an ongoing personal relationship. Additionally, I read the documents, actually might have them pulled up. And while these filings are never, it doesn't, just because someone wrote it doesn't mean it's true. It is fascinating to hear that the lawyer in this case has attested to personal knowledge of this. That is to say, the lawyer's telling the judge, I am saying it's true. That's really interesting. They say that the counsel learned of this. Let me see if I can. I'm not going to read through all that. It's a long filing, but you get the point. Because the case remains under seal, Merchant said she is not sharing the information she obtained from the divorce file until the seal is lifted. She also said she is asking a judge to unseal the case file. So basically, this dude files for divorce and then tries to hide the divorce. You know what? Let me just pull up the filing right here. This is the filing here, and it'll be much easier just to read the actual argument because it's way juicier than what you see in the articles. The instant motion is not filed lightly, nor is it being filed without considerable forethought, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But let's jump down to the claims here. They say, the court may well be wondering for good reason, how do you know this and why does it matter? This is in reference to the relationship and the improper transfer, the improper work relationship. Open records requests to Fulton County reveal the DA did not obtain county approval to appoint the special prosecutor. Why would the DA not obtain this approval prior to appointing the special prosecutor? It's a good question, but I don't know how serious that is. The special prosecutor has admitted his oath was not filed prior to his work on the case. Why would the special prosecutor not just file the oath? A simple administrative task for the lawyer. The point being, she did not go to the public and request that this guy be confirmed. Why? It's argued, I suppose, they would discover the relationship and he would get rejected. The special prosecutor is seeking a divorce in Cobb County and sought to successfully seal those records. Interesting. Or sought successfully to seal those records, hiding them from public view. Why would a private citizen, such as the special prosecutor, shield filings related to his income and spending from public view? That actually is a really good question. Most people don't care to look these things up. This guy's not a public figure. Why is he trying to hide this? Well, the filings in the divorce case are sealed by the court order, the legality of which is open to question. Information obtained outside of court filings indicates the DA and special prosecutor have traveled personally together to such places as Napa Valley, Florida, and the Caribbean. And the special prosecutor has purchased tickets for both of them to travel on both the Norwegian and Royal Caribbean cruise lines. Traveling together to such places as Washington, D.C. or New York City might make sense for work purposes in light of other pending litigation. But what work could be done at these other non-traditional locations? How about that? They go on to say, the DA and the special prosecutor have been seen in private together in and about the Atlanta area and believed to have cohabited in some form or fashion at a location owned by neither of them. Sources close to both the special prosecutor and the DA have confirmed that an ongoing personal relationship during the pendency. According to these sources, the personal relationship between the district attorney and the special prosecutor began before this prosecution was initiated and before the DA appointed the special prosecutor. Collusion. Undersigned counsel knows the special prosecutor and has researched his litigation experience. That research reveals the special prosecutor has never tried a felony RICO case. The state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta has several lawyers who specialize in the prosecuting and defending RICO cases. Despite having access to these resources, why would the DA instead appoint someone who has never tried a felony RICO case? Particularly in a case with such national significance as this one, because they're evil, because they are evil people who are stealing public funds for personal gain and burning everything down around them. It is fairly obvious. I know, but the question is posed to the judge. Then the question becomes, do you have a good and honest judge? Or is the judge just going to say, I ain't going to rock the boat because I'm playing the same game? Amazing. They're going to say the special prosecutor, based on this lack of experience in this type of felony, would not be qualified under Fulton County standards to be appointed to represent any defendant in this case, given the complexity of the charges. If the special prosecutor is not qualified to defend this case under Fulton County standards, then how is he qualified to prosecute the case? Is that why the DA did not seek approval for his appointment? If so, why did she seek to appoint an unqualified lawyer without approval to preside over this prosecution? Since being appointed, the special prosecutor has been paid an estimated almost $1 million in legal fees. Of course, additional fees would be expected when private counsel is hired. But that would assume they are not in a relationship with the DA and they were qualified to do the work they were hired to do. Wow. They're going to mention the DA's salary is, including state and county supplements, is $198,266.66. And the total annual budget for the Fulton County office is $31.5 million. Why is it important? The DA's failure to obtain the required approval to appoint the special prosecutor prior to him obtaining indictments against Mr. Roman renders the prosecutor's service in that role a nullity and without effect under Georgia law. So the indictments he assisted in securing suffer from a structural and irreparable defect and must be dismissed. And they're going to make many, many more statements here. But the counsel in this case is arguing that they know these things to be true. Now, the big story, in my opinion, can echo the great tweets. Nathan Wade, Fani Willis' lead prosecutor, met with Biden's White House counsel on May 23rd and November 18th, 2022, before indicting Donald Trump, Biden's leading presidential opponent. Is the Biden White House coordinating Trump's prosecution? And there it is. Evidence of a conspiracy against Donald Trump. Did I say definitive proof? No. I said it's evidence. It may turn out to be incorrect, but the argument I often give to people is that evidence is not proof. And it's silly when the press tries to conflate these things. I am not saying it's proven it's a conspiracy against Trump. I think most people would infer there is, but there are certainly copious amounts of evidence that there is collusion and conspiracy against Donald Trump, a seditious conspiracy, as it were. And what does that mean? Evidence implies or indicates something. It's really that simple. Evidence is information, objects, statements, etc., that could imply a thing to be true. After a certain amount of evidence is collected, a reasonable person may conclude that it is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Meaning we can't ever definitively know for sure, but you've given us enough evidence. Now, what if there's not enough evidence? Then it's not proven of anything. A man is seen leaving the scene of a crime. He is carrying a bottle of beer. The person who was murdered, a person was murdered, and they were murdered with this same type of beer. Is this evidence? Yes. Is it proof? No. The guy had the same kind of beer. He's carrying a 6-pack. It's got 2 bottles in it. Where are the other bottles? He was seen leaving the scene of the crime. What could that mean? Could mean he did it. It's evidence. You present that evidence to a jury. Then someone presents more evidence. Video of the man shaking the victim's hand, handing him a beer, high-fiving, and then leaving as friends. When another strange man approaches, grabs the beer from his hand, and bashes him over the head with it, killing. You get the point. Evidence is not proof. And what I'm saying here is this is evidence that the Joe Biden White House is conspiring against his political rival. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.